really heard from you since that epic night in Brighton, now semi-final to prepare for. Give us a sense of what it's like in the camp right now.
It's in a really good place. Obviously, we had two days kind of off to recover and have a bit of fun, so I think everyone really enjoyed that. And then getting back out on the pitch yesterday, and everyone was focused and ready to go again. But yeah, I think everyone's in a really good place, and obviously, off the back of that win, you know, it was a very confident place to be. But now it's fully focused on the next game.
Saw pictures of a little bit of boating, a little bit of volleyball, some family, and because of that, were you able to sort of step away and decompress properly away from football, because you have had that outlet, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously, you know, we had to take away that luxury for us, obviously making sure that we try and keep COVID out as much as possible, because you don't want to lose players going into a semi-final. So I think it was the right call from everyone to do that, because we know now, you know, we want to go all the way and we don't want to have to miss out on certain situations. But yeah, I think the girls really got into volleyball. I think some were playing out there for hours in the end, actually. Yeah, so I mean, it's been fun. Obviously, you know, the staff have done everything they can to make sure that we're enjoying ourselves and doing different things. So yeah, I think no one really has any complaints.
The biggest star of the volleyball court was who?
I don't actually know. I'm too small, so I don't know.
Nothing wrong with being small, Fran.
No, it's true. No, I didn't really view much, but I heard that there was quite a lot of competitiveness going on.
Of course there was.
Yeah.
Of course there was. And given your build-up and lack of football, how pleased were you with your form during this tournament, the minutes you played, the performances you put in? Because you've spoken a lot about not knowing whether or not you'd even be here, let alone featuring as much as you have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, leading into this tournament, I didn't really know what my role was until Serena already sat down and spoke to me. But I've been really happy with the minutes that I've got. You know, I've started every game and I've felt good in every game. So yeah, I'm really happy with where I'm at, and I'm happy that I'm able to contribute to the team as much as I have done. Hopefully I can keep building.
Just finally from me, we know about the 4 semi-finals, don't we? And I'm sure you'll be asked a lot as a group before the game on Tuesday night. How does this group take the next step? How do you seize that opportunity? I remember talking to Leah Williamson before, and she said, we don't want to be that golden generation that weren't able to have something to show for what we've achieved up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously it is in the back of the mind of a few of the girls who have been there and, like you said, been in the 4 semi-finals now. But for us, it's about the present, and it's about what we can do to make sure that we're not in that position again. And I think no one's really spoken about it in the camp in terms of the ones who have been through that situation. It's not been a topic that we've spoken about. It's more just focusing on the game and getting through that game and getting to a final. So yeah, for us, we're not really thinking about it. Obviously thinking about it, it's difficult for me because obviously I was a part of all of them. But I mean, I think for us now, we're just focusing on the next game and focusing on Sweden.
And how much might it be, you've been in big games before that you haven't come through with mentor, and how much of a role will Serena play in reassuring you this week that as a group you can do this?
Well, I mean, she's been there and done it. She's got to finals, she's won major finals, so, you know, the best person to get us through that and to do that is her. So I think she'll come with a lot of experience, a lot of advice, and, you know, she already has done leading into this tournament. So yeah, I mean, I think for her it's a case of doing what's normal for her, because obviously she's been to a few now, so I'm sure we'll lean on her a little bit in order to get through it.
Thanks, Gail. We'll go to Lindsay at the moment.
Hey, Fran. As a group, in the group stages, you were outstanding, and everyone thought, you know, no goals conceded, all the goals that you'd scored. And then the quarter-final, it felt like you answered the question about character and going behind and being able to come back. Do you now collectively still have any questions that you feel that you've got to answer in this tournament?
I think every game is a new question. I think, you know, for us in the group stages, like you said, we went through without conceding a goal, and then Spain was obviously a lot more difficult in terms of the possession that they had and how much we had to dig deep and defend for our lives at some points. But I think Sweden come with a completely different question in terms of the style of play, in terms of difference to Spain. I think every game you have to change your tactics a little bit to see how you can suit against the team that you're going to come up against. So it's just another question in terms of another team.
And just one follow-up to that, what do you think is going to be the Sweden challenge compared to the Spain one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we'll have a bit more of the ball than we did against Spain. But I mean, you know, they're a quality side, they're a very experienced side, they're very similar in terms of us, in terms of where they've reached in tournaments. Obviously, they reached the Olympic final, they have a wealth of experience in their team, and they have some amazing characters, some amazing leaders, and some quality footballers. And I think, you know, they're going to come with a very physical game. Or the Swedish players that I've played with and played against are very physical in terms of the way that they press, the way that they, you know, show that aggression in the way that they defend. Set pieces for them have been massive leading into this tournament and in this tournament. So I think for us, we just need to focus on what we can do to eliminate them threats and also play to our strengths as well.
Thanks, Lizzie. We'll take a question from the back.
Thank you. Fran, you just talked about Serena. What would you say is her biggest quality, what she can make you do?
I mean, first and foremost, she's a great coach. The way she sees football, the way that she analyses other teams. But I think for her, her management of players sticks out for me in the way that she's made every person feel valued in this team, whether you're a starter, whether you're coming in as a sub, whether you don't get any minutes. I think everyone knows what their role is in the team and what they're there to do, and they've taken that in their stride. And I think that's a compliment to her and how people have managed themselves and made sure when you're called upon that you're ready to go, because it's not easy to do things like that when, you know, maybe you've sat on the bench and you wanted to be a player, everyone wants to play. So, you know, to make people still feel valued and feel hungry when they come on the pitch, that they can change it and they can help, you know, it's a really special quality, and I think she has that.
The atmosphere at your matches is just great. Can you fully enjoy it, or are you experiencing now more pressure?
I think you can see after the game how much the girls enjoy it. I'm a bit more cool and calm, I think, in them situations, because I'm already just focusing on the next game. But I think the girls really enjoy it. I mean, the fans have been incredible. Everyone who's been there, people watching back home, it's been really, really special. And yeah, it's something that I don't think I'll ever forget, and something that it's a memory that's going to last forever, with playing in front of these amazing crowds and amazing people who are cheering, chanting. And it definitely helps us when our backs are against the wall against Spain, for example, that they're there to cheer us and put us through it.
Do you think it can even change, or that in women's soccer so it can be a legacy and not just a memory?
Yeah, I hope so. I think for us, we want to be playing in front of crowds like this week in, week out in this country. So I'm hoping that it won't just be, you know, oh, what an amazing Euros it was. I hope that it becomes something, oh my God, look at the WSL this year, look how much it's growing, look how many people are coming, and that's what we're aspiring to do. And I think with the crowds coming to our games, it shows that, you know, the willingness is out there. And like you said, hopefully it becomes more normal rather than just, oh my God, wasn't that amazing? So hopefully we're able to do that.
Thank you. We'll go to NOS from the Netherlands.
Hello. There seems to be quite some cup fever going on in England. You're in a bubble over here, of course. But what do you get from what's going on the outside?
I think a bit similar to what I said. I think we build such a momentum with everyone behind us, and I saw some amazing videos of people celebrating in Box Park, going crazy when we scored the goal against Spain. So I think it just shows, you know, the country are getting behind us, and they all want us to do well. And we're going out for walks, and people are like clapping us when we walk past. Like, it's never happened before. Especially, obviously, all tournaments have been away previously, so being able to have them at home and to get that buzz from the nation, it kind of gets you excited and ready to go for the next game, because you know everyone's supporting you and cheering you. And yeah, it's a bit surreal when you're just walking down the street and people are out the windows clapping you. It's a bit weird, but I mean, hopefully it means that we're doing people proud and that we're inspiring them and showing them, you know, what women's football can do in this country.
How does Serena Wiesman help you with managing the pressure that comes along with it as well?
It's something that we've spoken about since the beginning. As soon as we knew, obviously, that the Euros were going to be in England, it was a case of working out how we can manage that pressure. And I think for us, we've been really good at keeping things in-house in terms of managing ourselves, managing our own expectations. And, you know, for us, a lot of the pressure is from the outside, but what do we allow to come into our own bubble, like you said? And I think the girls have managed that really, really well. Even those who have come into their first tournament, you know, it can be quite daunting. And obviously for me, I played my first tournament in Canada, so it was however far away. I didn't know what was going on back home, but these girls, they see it every day. They're able to actually picture what it is and what's happening. So I think them girls have really taken it in their stride, and they're doing really, really well with it.
Is that also the difference with Serena Wiesman and the previous managers?
I think it's been more, she's been more aware of kind of how it is to have a home tournament. Obviously, having the home tournament in the Netherlands, she's had that experience of how to manage them expectations. Obviously, for us, it's the first time that we've had it, so we didn't really know what to expect. But with her in there, she showed us how to deal with it, how to manage the pressure. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to say in terms of different managers because we've never had a home tournament with their managers before. So yeah, I think it's just more that she has the experience from previous tournaments.
Thanks.
Thanks very much. We'll take a question there whilst the mic is there.
You guys are on the longest winning streak in the team's history, 10 games. Do you feel there's an era of kind of invincibility about at the moment, or is there still, you guys still running?
I didn't even know that stat. So, you know, I think it's, for us, it's just to win every game. I don't think it's a case of us going, you know, oh, we've won one game, we've won 2 games, oh my God, we're on this amazing streak. I think it's just focusing, as soon as the game's finished, like I said earlier, it's focusing on the next one, doing your recovery right, making sure that you're ready to go. And yeah, I mean, I think that's been our thought process. As soon as, you know, we beat Spain, obviously, you know, we have them celebrations, we have that downtime, but now it's, you know, fully focused and ready to go for the next one. So I don't think people are getting really too caught up in everything. I think it's just more do the job that's on task and focus on the next one.
And just quickly, boy, you've had the same starting 11 for the same 4 games at tournament, which is actually a tournament record. Do you feel like consistency has kind of been the key so far for your success?
I mean, it's obviously what Serena has picked and what she's believed in. Even with previous teams, she's always stuck with the same starting 11. But I don't think it's a case of, you know, just because we've been playing the same starting 11 is the reason why we've got here. I think, like I said earlier, the girls who are coming into games and changing games, you know, it's not easy to do that. And the training level every day has been amazing. Even those who, you know, they have to get up early to go out and do a blowout, you know, they're still there, they're still smiling, they're still working hard. And you know, if you don't work hard in them situations, then you can't make the impact that you do coming off the bench. And they've done that in every single game that we've played so far. And like I said, it's a credit to them and it's a credit to where the squad is at in terms of making sure that everyone feels valued, supported, and whether you're starting the same 11, you know that you've got players who are working hard who can come in and make that change.
Thank you. Thanks very much. We'll finish with 2 questions. We'll go to BBC at the back.
Hi Fran, first of all, congratulations on getting to the semi-finals. Thanks for an amazing match the other day, enjoyed that one. Just quickly, I know you said that the team doesn't talk about the other semis, but we are in another semis. They say you learn more about your defeats than your victories. What can you take from the disappointment of the past into Tuesday's game?
Yeah, it's a hard one because I feel when you look back it all just seems like a blur. Them kind of games that you've lost in them situations, you don't really try and think about them too much. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just focusing so much on the game that's coming up. Maybe in previous ones we've got a bit excited thinking, oh my God, we could get to a final instead of actually focusing on the semi-finals here first. So I think we've been really good at doing that. I think we haven't got ahead of ourselves. You know, we still have a really, really tough game in Sweden for the highest ranked team left in the tournament. We've played them multiple times and they've always been a tough team to play against, so we know that we have to focus fully on that game and we're not even thinking about getting to a final right now. It's focusing on the semi-final. And I think maybe in previous tournaments we haven't really expected to maybe get to semi-finals before, maybe, you know, later stages, but especially Canada 2015. I don't think we really expected to get to where we did, so I think that was a bit of a wake-up call in terms of how to adjust to that situation and be ready for the semi-final rather than getting excited thinking that you could possibly be in a final.
Final one from me. So Spain offered a very different challenge than you had in the group stages, of course. With regards to the training that's happening throughout this tournament, is Serena keeping it consistent and just kind of doing your own style, or are you tweaking it each time with the opposition that you're going to be facing next?
I think you always look at the strengths of the opposition that you're coming up against. Obviously, you know, Spain, they had different strengths to Norway, they had different strengths to Northern Ireland, so you do have to cater a little bit to suit them, but Serena has a style of play that she likes to do and the way that she likes to play, and you know, we've built that consistency while working with her in terms of the way that we've played and the way that we've moved with the ball, without the ball, and she knows what she wants. So I think a lot of it does stay the same, but obviously you do have to take into consideration the opponent that you're playing against in terms of what their strengths and how can you stop that.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks very much. We'll take a final question from George from the Press Association. Just thank you. Pass the mic. Thanks, George.
Hi, Fran. Just one from me. Obviously, you know, you had the layup coming into this tournament. I read that you said you'd you rather peak for the final than the first game? How kind of close do you feel you are to your best?
I mean, I think I've been growing through each game. Obviously, the Spain game was a bit difficult because we didn't really have the ball much. But I think for me, you know, I think even in each training session, I feel like I'm getting sharper and fitter. So yeah, I've been really happy with the way that I've played so far and the way that I've helped the team in terms of going forward and getting the wins. But to be honest, I'm not really focusing too much on my own performance because the most important thing is that the team win. So whether I play badly, whether I play good, as long as we get the win at the end of the game, then that's the most important thing. But I think for me, I know that I'm still building into the tournament a little bit. And like you said, I didn't play much football leading into it. So I've been really happy with how my body's handled it and how I've been, you know, physically on the pitch and recovering wise. So hopefully, you know, I can keep doing that going into the semi-final and hopefully further.
Thanks, George. Thank you very much, guys. Anna, very kindly at the back, will take you around.